Good day everyone, my name is Putra Aisyah from Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember, and in this occasion I will be presenting a design thinking project that I've implemented in SMA in Pakusari under the title of Scripted Speaking Technique for Better Speaking Ability. So in order to present about the result of scripted speaking that I have implemented, I will start by giving an overview of it, which I showcase it in Double Diamond, a model that I have learned in the design thinking class. So first thing first, I indicate the problem first, which is in the first diamond. And in the first diamond, we have the first phase, which is the discover phase, which I explore various challenges faced by the students, and I do this through a group work of SMA in Pakusari, teaching assistant from Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember. PPG students to analyze it through a double diamond. And in the in the discover process, we involve divergent process, which we found there are five problems that faced by the students, including students' confidence in speaking due to their fear of making pronunciation error, and then the second one, they found difficulty in comprehending and learning tenses, and then the third one, they have negative perception about their own abilities, and then number four, they often encounter difficulty in keeping up with the information when the teacher speaks too fast, and then the last one, and they are not comfortable being in a large group. And then after that, after I diverge the challenges faced by the students, and me and my team, we draw into the second process of double diamond, which is still in the first diamond, which is a defined phase. In the defined phase, we frame our key problems that we need to focus on, and we decided as a student's fear of speaking, because it is like the problem that align with other problem as well. So we chose this one in our defined phase. And then after, we found that students experience anxiety and fear of the judgment when they speak English due to several factors that I've mentioned previously related to the various challenges faced by them. And then we go on to the second diamond of the double diamond, and it starts with develop phase. And in the develop phase, we have a real discussion to frame our problem, and we generate some ideas that will be considered to tackle students' speaking anxiety, and we found several of solutions that will be elaborated later on in this slide as well, because in this slide we have impact and effort metric, which showcase some solution that we have found here, as it can be seen in the picture. This one, we have around 7 solution, and in this define, and then after finishing with some solution, we decided one solution that we need to focus on, which is the scripted speaking technique. The reason will be elaborated later on the next slides. And after we diverge that some idea, we start to convert the idea into one idea, which is scripted speaking. And in the deliver phase, we test the scripted speaking as our prototype, or the best solution that we think it is the most suitable solution or the most suitable prototype for the students in the real classroom. Okay, the next one, I will focus on elaborating the root causes of the problem in the low speaking confidence among the students. And in the design thinking class, we also learn how to use empathy map to analyze the problems faced by the students. And these are the root causes that we also absorb from the empathy map that we have discussed, which are fear of making mistakes, limited vocabulary and speaking structure, and then struggle to organize their thought when they begin speaking. And these causes are related to one another, which cause them to hesitantly speak in a large group. So they have this preference to speak in a small group rather than they have to speak in front of the class or in public or even in a large group. So these are the causes that we found. And the pain and gain in this one is that students they feel the pain that they feel anxious and lost when speaking English due to some root causes that I've mentioned previously. But at the same time, they want to gain something. They want to feel confident and clear in expressing their idea as well. So it's like that deeply they have this motivation and they have this desire to speak well in English, but they feel some pain due to their lack of confidence. And in this area, scripted speaking is one of the most prevalent solution to reduce the pain that they encountered and as well as support the gain that they want to acquire. And then the next one is why we choose scripted speaking. As I've mentioned previously in the second double diamond, in the first phase of second diamond, there are some solutions that we found during our discussions, which are sorry, I cannot read that one. Wait a moment. I think I need to make it bigger to apologize for this inconvenience. So these are scripted or prompted speaking that we have chose. It is because we found the impact is high, while the effort that students and we need to put will be low as well, because all the other solutions seems to require some efforts related to digital learning, and then it is not really in line with the background. It is not really in line with the characteristic, as one of the example, maybe like role-playing activity. We don't think that role-playing activity match with the characteristic. As I've mentioned, that in role-playing activities, it requires a speaker to have good vocabularies and then as well as a good memorization and comprehension of the text or any kind that they should deliver. On the other hand, it isn't really in line with students' competence in SMA Pakusari because they have a limited vocabularies and they do not really fluent to do a role-playing activities. And another example is small group discussions. And it is valid that previously I mentioned that students like to work in a small group. However, this small group, we have a consideration that small group discussion have a low impact because it is quite difficult for teachers to assess a big group of students with many group in class. So that is why we think the best one is that scripted speaking, because it gives low effort in terms of students or teachers, because it only needs it only needs like a script. They can write it down, they can also print it out, or as well as for the teacher, they can write it down in the blackboard, and or teacher can also deliver the script or the template to the students digitally. And as well, it gives a high impact because it is in line with the students' competence. So they try to understand the template, and then they can also try to build their own sentence. That is why. And then another reason that it also helps students we guide the structure and language models, because the reason that I've mentioned, that students can comprehend the template, comprehend the script that has given by the teacher, and then they can also learn the language models by creating their own sentence and adjust it to the template as well. So because scripted speaking gives them more time, more well preparations, so we believe that it will also reduce their anxiety during their performance. And we also learn about the tech and approach of how might we, and we found these. One, how might we develop an engaging learning strategy so that students can improve their English speaking ability? So these how might we questions can answer or can guide our path to the insight that we've gotten. Like the insight that we've gotten is that students often remain silent in speaking activities because they fear of making mistakes, they fear of being judged, or they do not really know what to say. So that's why we believe that the how might we question that we have here will help us to give a well-structured path to reach our goals. And then the next one is how was it implemented. So the scripted speaking session that I implement in my specifically in my class was done through 3 meetings, including online and offline learning. Online learning was held due to the specific schedule given by the school, because some of activities that cannot be intervened. And then the first one is online learning for 1 hour meeting. So in that opportunity, I give some introduction about the materials, and then I group the students into the characteristic that I have known previously. Actually, in the other class, it will be done through a group as well as the presentation. However, in my class, the characteristic is quite different, because the students in my class mention that even they like to work in a small group, but they have these specific requirements that they are more comfortable in learning individually. So I think so the concept of in my class of grouping students is only be done by me. I grouping the students who need more scaffolding approach, and then who are the students that have higher competence. So yeah, that is the concept of the grouping students. So the concept of grouping students in my class is focusing on the scaffolding approach, not the group activities. And then after that, I give them the instructions through a group in WhatsApp, and yeah, it is quite interactive because I elaborated through a video, and then I also elaborated the information to text as well. And then the next one is offline learning, which I use this occasion to give them time to prepare their performance, because in the span of time from online from the first and second meeting, they have a time to create their own text, and then after they create their own text, I can recheck it in the second meeting, because I directly facing them in the class, so they have more time to prepare their performance and recheck their report report text. So I chose 5 to 6 students to present the result of their report text with the template that I gave them in the first meeting, with the script that I gave them in the first meeting. And then the students I chose was based on the grouping student scaffolding that I have identified. Some students are the students who have a high competence, while the remainings are the students who I think need more improvements, because after each of their performance, I always give them a feedback based on their performance. So the remaining students, beside of that 6 students, can comprehend what statement that I highlight for them to prepare their performance later on in the third meeting. I highlight some of the feedback, because some students still tend to read the text. They really depend on the text. They do not really have that competence of speak directly in front of the class. So I highlight that one of the examples that I highlight on their performance. They should not only depend on the text, and then they also need to have an eye contact with the audience or with the camera. So, and then after the feedback that I've given them, I remind them that they need to record their speech on the next meeting. And then in the next meeting is the last meeting of the scripted speaking implementation, and it is also an offline learning. In this occasion, then my students can record their speech based on the feedback. Some students they record their speech directly in the class, and some of them also I gave them flexible learning rules. So some of them also record their speech outside of the class, and they record their speech or their presentation based on the feedback that I have given in the previous meeting. And this is the response of the students. I believe that even the best solution will not give all positive response of its user, and this one we will start it with the positive response. So the positive response, I saw and I observed from the students that most of them feel more confident when speaking in English, because they have a time to prepare their speech, they have a time to prepare their presentation, and also the template and the script that I gave to them make them more well prepared. And it also relates to the second positive response, because the script and the structure are clear and easy and match their competence, their ability, and their characteristics, so they like it because it helps them in speaking English. And then the last one, because of those two positive response, of those two positive benefits, they felt that they more enjoy recording their presentation than they need to have an impromptu speaking. And then the negative response also appear in that implementation in my class, because as I've mentioned previously, even I have clarified that they they should not only depending on the script, but some students still showing that restrainment. I mean that that negative response. And then the second one, some students still have a misunderstanding on the script format, and they read full of the instruction. As an example, in the report text, we have a general statement and the description. I also wrote it down on the script or on the template, but I put it as only an information. However, they read it, even it is not part of the script that they have to present. And then the last one, because they are given a script or template that is already well structured, so they have very limited improvement. They do not really have a competence to have an impromptu or spontaneous speaking. And even that negative response appear, this product still effective based on what I have implemented in my class, because the first it addressed the core issue of low speaking confidence, because they are more well prepared, then their speaking confidence has increased. And then because they have already comprehend the script and the text, and they're also given so much time to prepare their performance, then the performance are clearer. And it also helps students present using the correct structure, because they can learn the script first, and then they can also adjust the script with the sentence that they want to involve in that script. You can also ask the teachers about the script as well. And with that good preparation, with that amount of time, my students feel safer and more prepared to speak in English, so that it enhance their speaking confidence in English. So this is the script that I gave to them. The script that I gave to them is bilingual, because my students do not really have high vocabulary in English, and these are the structure of the text. I put it as well to make them easier to identify the text. So it might seems quite simple, however I have considered it with the competence and characteristic of my students. So this one is the example of my students' speaking performance. This one is the performance that they have had in the classroom, which is in the second meeting. Today I will presentation about drone in agriculture seed dispersal. This text talks about the use of drone in agriculture has become increasingly popular in recent years. One of the most significant applications of drone in agriculture is seed dispersal. Drone equipped with seed dispersal system can efficiently and accurately distribute seeds over large areas of land, reducing labor costs and increasing crop yields. The drone seed dispersal system uses GPS technology to navigate and map the area to be seed. The drone can be programmed to disperse seed at specific interval and density, and ensuring optimal crop yield and reducing diseases. The benefit of using drone, as it can be seen in the first video, students still misunderstood of some instruction that I gave. They read full of the text. They do not really consider what the template is about. However, after this performance, I gave feedback that they do not they should not only depending on the text, they should really comprehend the text that they have met. But a presentation is not all about talking full of the text, or they read full of the text. They only need to focus on some points, some key points. I mentioned it as well as the feedback, and this is the result that they have made in their third meeting.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Tiara Ana Febrianti. Today I want to present a report text about drone in agriculture revolutioning seed dispersal. This text talks about one of the most significant applications of drone in agriculture is seed dispersal. Drone equipped with seed dispersal system can efficiently and accurately distribute seed.
As you can see, the confidence is quite significant uprising, because in this video she just do not really have an eye contact with the audience or the camera, and in this one she is more confident, like she shows some hand gestures, and then the tone of her presentations already quite distinct and different. So yeah, I think in conclusion we can relate it to the pain and gain. Even previously students feel anxious and afraid when speaking English, but in the second video we can see that they have gained more confidence and more clear in expressing their idea in terms of presentation or speech. So I believe scripted speaking, specifically in my class, is really is quite significant. It gives significant impact to most students in my class in SMA Ain Pakusari. So I think that's all for my presentation about the implementation of scripted speaking. I do apologize if I unintentionally made mistakes during this presentation. I think that's all. The questions and feedback are welcomed in the comment below. You can put it in the comment section in this channel. Thank you. I think that's all. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.